we will have a general election on the 4th of July.
The election campaign is in full swing.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much.
And the different parties are doing everything they can to get your vote. The general election is weeks away, and ID is your passport to have your say. It's the first general election where you need photo ID to vote, and opinions are divided. What do you think of the new photo ID rules?
I don't like them at all.
I think it's good that people are asked to provide ID as long as it's accessible for everybody.
If you live in an area and you're registered to vote in an area, that's all that should matter. I think they're just trying to gatekeep voting.
I think they're a good idea. Hopefully it'll weed out voter fraud.
It makes things so intimidating. Yeah, I feel like a fugitive.
I wanted to actually turn up and force them to deny me the right to vote. So I'm afraid for the general election I simply shan't be voting.
Last year's local elections were the first to require ID, and the Electoral Commission says 14,000 people were turned away for not having it.
Obviously there's lots of people who don't have the money to get a passport or a driving licence and things like that, so obviously there's possibilities that there are people who are eligible to vote won't get a chance to have their vote.
There are more than 20 forms of approved ID, and people can apply for a free voter certificate, because if it's not on the list, you're not coming in, as Sana found out in May's local elections.
Well, I came to try to vote today and I was unable, even though my name has been on the electoral register for years. I recently got naturalized as well, but just because I don't have the correct ID, they're like, nope, you can't even come, you can't vote, you can't do anything, and it's just a bit heartbreaking.
Voter fraud is low in the UK, but the government says it introduced these rules to remove any risk.
I don't think it's right if somebody takes your vote, and I think, you know, in almost everything else you do in life, you would expect to have at least some check that it is actually you getting on a plane or buying a ticket or anything else you're doing. I think your vote, which is a very specific right, you should be able to say, this is me who's actually voting.
Labour say if they win, they will monitor the impact of voter ID and will respond if it excludes people from voting. Reform would keep the system in place. The Greens and Lib Dems would scrap it. With the SNP and Plaid Cymru opposing what they call draconian rules and voter suppression.
Hi, Ruben.
Hi.
Really, really lovely to meet you.
But it may well end up being challenged in the courts. The Good Law Project is calling for a judicial review, saying the rules discriminate against minority groups.
We know some groups, poorer people, younger people, trans people, neurodivergent people, are less likely to have voter ID, and so it is more likely that they will be unable to vote. So although voter ID, photographic ID, sounds like a good idea, the reality is it disenfranchises particularly disadvantaged groups in society.
Democracy, of course, should be open to everyone, whatever their needs. And disabled groups are calling for an accessible campaign, be it easy read, manifestos or sign language on the leaders' debates, as well as this advert encouraging the learning disabled and neurodiverse communities to vote.
Because it's our vote.
And it's our voice.
Don't give up your vote.
With only 3 weeks to polling day, the key message to everyone, whoever you are and whatever barriers you face, is that you must seize the chance to have your say. So make sure you have what you need. Just follow a reminder, you have to register to vote by the 18th of June. This is Ruben Reuter reporting for Channel 4 News.